Hey guys, LuckyHD here, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be creating a new fan-made Loomian that has some special traits, and showing you guys all 5 of its forms in today's video. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you go down the like and subscribe, and let's get straight into the video. Alright, so before we start, guys, I actually put all of these Loomians out a couple days before I actually turned them into videos up on my Twitter. We're really close to 10,000 followers, so if you want to go over there, hit me with a follow. Definitely consider doing that. The link will be down in the description below. And yeah, so let's get into the actual inspiration for today's Loomian. Alright, so the inspiration for this Loomian actually comes in the form of a capybara. Now, you guys may or may not be familiar with the capybara. The capybara is basically one of the world's, if not the world's, largest rodents, okay? And it kind of looks like a really big beaver, you might see, and it has some really big teeth as well. But this entire, animal is just known to be very, very friendly with other animals, and just has a personality of, as long as you're not hurting it, it doesn't care what you do with it, or it doesn't care what it's actually doing at that current moment. So yeah, all around, this is just, one of my favorite animals just ever. I just think that they're really, really cute animals, and honestly, there's not really much rodent love inside of Loomian Legacy, okay? Think of the only other rodent inside of Loomian Legacy, and think of the reputation it has, okay? I'm looking at you, Twilight, okay? Twilight, it's decent, right? But we need a cute little rodent Loomian, okay? And that's where I come in. Today, we're gonna be going over my little capybara, kind of 2-stage, technically like 6-stage evolutionary line. It's really weird, okay? So to start out, guys, we're just gonna be getting straight into it. This is the pre-evolution right here, okay? And all the renders that you will see in today's video actually come from the really, really great Flared V. Definitely go hit him with a follow on Twitter. Now, Pup Prince is actually the name of this Loomian, and it is a pure typeless Loomian, okay? Once again, guys, you want to know what else doesn't have much love inside of Loomian Legacy? Typeless Loomians. We need more typeless Loomians, okay? I cannot stress this enough. The fact that we only have 4 typeless Loomians, 5 if you technically want to count female Cathano, but enough ranting aside, let's actually get back to the main thing. Pup Prince would probably be a route rare Loomian inside of Loomian Legacy, and kind of act as the Eevee of Loomian Legacy, okay? We definitely need something like an Eevee thing, or just something that has multiple forms. No, I'm not talking about you, Twilight. Again, we don't want your, Umbrat Luxor stuff. We need some, like, cool, different, kind of like fire, ice, electric, poison, toxic, all that type of stuff. We need some evolutionary forms like those. And speaking of forms, let's get into the first evolution of this Loomian, which is going to be Capybara. Now, there's actually an animation that is going to play for this, created by iFura. Again, go follow him on Twitter as well. Both Flared V and iFura's links will be down in the description below. Again, go follow them. So let's play the animation right here. Alright, so what you saw right there was the Loomian of Pup Prince evolving into Capybara. Now, Capybara is actually currently in its sleeping form, okay? This is the main form that it will evolve into once you evolve Pup Prince. But you might be asking, well, LuckyHD, how do we get the other forms? Now, the other forms will actually be obtained when you go into battle. How this Loomian works is whenever you get hit by a status condition, aka sleep, paralysis, burn, poison, or freeze, I'm pretty sure, those are all the 5 typings, you actually would change the typing of your Capybara. So, of course, I will be getting into all of those forms later, but you might also be asking, well, what if I want, a specific typing? Well, that's where, these little special items come into play. So there actually is items inside of Loomian Legacy, like Volcanic Ash, and whenever you put it on your Loomian, it actually gives it a burn effect. Now, what you could do with this is you could put it on your Capybara, and in the overworld, it would actually stay as the burn form of Capybara. I think it's a little cool with the kind of thing, to, I guess, utilize these types of things, because you don't really kind of use Volcanic Ash, all the other like status inflicting moves inside of Loomian Legacy, so having something like this as a kind of just keeping, or like kind of like a lock or something like that on your Loomian would be pretty cool to see. And I know you're probably dying to see all of these forms, so of course let's get into the first one, and that is going to be the Toxic form. Now, this Toxic form would actually come when you get hit with a status effect, of course, that gives you poison inside of Loomian Legacy. And kind of how that would work is you could switch between these as long as you just have a new status effect on, okay? So you could go from poison to fire, or fire to ice, or electric to sleep, or something like that, just as long as you have the status on. And again, I'm gonna play another animation of how this would kind of work. Alright, so as you guys saw right there, that was the sleep form going into the toxic or poison form, and I just wanted to bring that up because, of course, we are talking about the toxic form, and there is a video of the sleep form going into the toxic form, so, again, I thought it would just, make a little bit of sense to kind of throw the animation in there. But let's go over the actual design of the toxic one itself. So the toxic one, of course, big surprise, it's purple, it's toxic, and it has, some kind of, like, drippy effect coming off of it. In the eyes, also, kind of on the lower part of it as well, and all around, he just looks very sad, Somebody needs to go give him a big old hug, make him feel better. I don't know, just something to cheer him up, okay? So yeah, this Loomian, again, is just the toxic form, the very, very sad emo one. And yeah, now let's get on to the next one, which is going to be the paralysis form. Alright, the paralysis form. This is probably my favorite one out of all 5 of them. I don't know, I just really, really like the entire, kind of eyes and stuff on this one. It just looks cool, okay? And maybe, maybe it's a bias because Jolteon is my favorite evolution, but that's besides the point, This one looks really, really cool, and, I'll get a little bit of a side angle so you guys can see the entire body. It's kind of in the shape of like a lightning bolt or something like that, just, it's got its hair sticking up, okay, kind of like it just got struck by something. Again, whoa, big whoop, it's the electric, paralysis one, who would have ever thought? But yeah, so this one, again, is my favorite one. It would be a pure electric type, and I don't know if I mentioned the last one, the toxic form would be a pure poison type. All of these are, just pure typings, by the way, guys. So yeah, again, my favorite typing out of all of these, and, just my favorite form in general. Now let's go on to the next one, which is going to be the ice form. Alright, this would probably be the one that you see least in PvP because, you don't really get froze that often in Loomian Legacy. Like, name the last time you walked into a PvP battle and you got frozen by something, okay? Yeah, exactly. So, this one, though, it actually is still really cool, though. It's got the entire, kind of blue thing going on because, again, it's an ice type, who would have thought? And it's got some sharp edges on it because kind of like mimicking an icicle or something like that, or just, ice in general. Ice, very sharp. Wow. And, just putting it into the design. Wow, sharp fur. Genius idea right there, LuckyHD. But yeah, so this thing would actually be a pure ice type, and I think it would be one of the first pure ice types, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if there's any other pure ice types inside of Loomian Legacy. If there is, comment it down below because I'm not that too knowledgeable with Loomian types and stuff like that. But yeah, turning it over to the back, you can actually see the kind of tail parts and just more of the body. It kind of lightens up once you actually get towards the back, and it's got an icicle sticking out of its butt because, hey, it needs a tail. All of these things have, little unique kind of tails and stuff like that. The electric one kind of has that little, like, pointed end. The toxic one has a mushroom on its tail and all that stuff. So, this one has an icicle sticking out of its butt. I don't know how it got there. I don't know how it formed, but it's there, okay? Alright, so for the final form of this video, it is going to be the fire form. Now, the fire form is actually pretty interesting because this one is a pure fire type. It would probably be the one that you see the most inside of the game, or, like, the most you'd see inside of PvP because the abundance of fire types inside of Loomian Legacy, like, there's a lot of them, okay? Maybe second to, like, paralysis, I don't know. Maybe they'll tie with each other. I have no idea. But with this entire thing, I kind of wanted to stray away from the entire concept of evolutions and stuff like that, and, make it a little bit different. That's why these are actually affected by status conditions and not, like, stones and all that stuff. And it's also, at the same time, why it's not, like, the same animal, the same kind of design. It's really hard making, like, a fire form thing without having it be compared to Flareon and stuff like that, especially with them being both brown rodents. Eevee's not a rodent, but, like, you get the point, okay? So, yeah, I kind of, try to, like, distance myself away from Flareon and all that stuff, but, still maintaining the typical aspects of a capybara. Alright, now don't go anywhere because this video is not over. Let's go over the actual abilities of these Loomians. All of these Loomians would get the same ability, but a kind of different playstyle, if that makes sense. So, each of these Loomians would get an increase in one specific stat. It would kind of work like Rev Up in a way. Basically, every single turn you would get an increase in a specific stat, whether that be speed, melee defense, range defense, melee attack, or ranged attack. And of course, all of these Loomians would get their own version of that. Now, you might say, well, LuckyHD, it's a little bit broken. What if I just switch out and, start increasing my other stats? Well, if you actually switch out or get your status, kind of removed, say, you have your electric one out, you're increasing your speed on it, and somebody brings, a fire type thing, puts a burn effect on you, it would basically just make it so that, like, you would have to start increasing your stats again, and, it wouldn't even be speed, it would actually be ranged attack. So, speaking of which, let's actually go over all of these stat increases for each of the forms. Now, like I said before, electric would get an increase in speed every single turn, so every turn, you use your move, then increases your speed, you use your move again, increases your speed, so every turn, back and forth, again, it works exactly like Rev Up. So, for the next one is going to be the ice form. The ice form would actually get an increase in range defense. Yes, because, A, there's the fire type types and all that stuff that could do some pretty serious damage to this thing. Again, seeing as it is a pure ice type, so having an increase in range defense would be pretty good for it. Now for the sleep form, this would actually get an increase in melee defense because, I mean, why not? I just had to throw it in there somewhere. For Toxic, it would get an increase in melee attack, and for the Fire form, it would get an increase in range attack. So that was all of the abilities and all of the increase for stats and stuff that each of these Loomians would get. I know this video is a lot, and you know, these Loomians are very, very complicated, but I think that's what makes them interesting, okay? That is, after all, their little special traits and all that stuff. And before you guys go down in the comments below and say something, I didn't create these Loomians for the leak. I actually created them actually way before, you know, like way before. So yeah, just had to put that out there before anybody started commenting it. And yeah, speaking of comments, guys, definitely go down there. Let me know which one was your favorite out of all 5 of these forms. And hey, maybe you want to include the pre-evolution in there. Just let me know which one was your favorite out of this entire video. And if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to go down there, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.